Hey guys, we've been working on basic rhythmic concepts. Remember, we've talked about how time signatures work, how we can look at music through time in a traditional notation sense, and we've taken a look at what time signatures mean. One of the ways we can check to see if we understand is by doing a little bit of fill in the blank work. Now, on the screen here, I have a big measure. This big measure has everything all around it, but nothing's going to apply to it unless I put it on there. So if I put a time signature like 4/4 time on this particular measure. Now this measure has 4 beats in it. The top number tells us how many beats are in each measure. Now, when we say we're counting music, we don't necessarily mean we're counting how many. Counting is kind of different in that instead of counting how many, we're counting for location. That top number of the time signature tells us there are 4 beats in each measure. And so we're going to be looking to have those 4 beats. Beat 1, I don't know if you can see my cursor, the white arrow. That's beat 1 we would expect to the left. Beat 2 near the center. Beat 3 the other side of center, and beat 4 on the right on the extreme side. So when we are counting rhythms, that pattern of change over the steady beat, then we are going to be counting where the notes start to sound. And so in a measure of 4/4 time, we have some options. I can use this whole note. If I put this whole note in this measure, it's going to last for the entire measure. And in 4/4 time, because of the 4 on the bottom, when the quarter note is equal to 1, a whole note's worth 4 counts. In this example with a whole note in this particular measure, there's no more space because the first, second, and third beats are filled with just this one note. If I remove this, I can put in a half note on starting on beat 1 and a half note starting on beat 3. In 4/4 time, with the 4 on the bottom, the quarter note's equal to 1. That means that each of these half notes are equal to 2 counts. So starting at beat 1 and going through beat 2 is this first half note, and then starting again at beat 3 and then beat 4. I can have, in a measure of 4/4 time, 2 half notes. Now, I don't mean to insult anybody's intelligence, and we're going slow just to make sure it all makes sense. The easiest way to see where all of the beats belong is for us to use the beat unit. And in 4/4 time, the bottom number on the time signature tells us that the quarter note is equal to the beat. So because of that, each quarter note is worth 1 count. Here's a quarter note in the first beat space, in the second beat space, the third beat space, and the fourth beat space. I'm not going to be able to put any other quarter notes in there. I'm not going to be able to put a half note in there or anything else. Now, for sure, you may think, well, dude, how do we not run out of music combinations? We don't run out of combinations because there are so many we could do. So in 4/4 time, I could have a half note and 2 quarter notes. 1 and then 3 and 4. Notice I held through where that second beat belongs. That way I'm taking up the same space as I would if I were playing. I could switch around some things, put the half note on the second beat. So I have a quarter note on beat 1, a half note on beat 2, holding through beat 3, and then a quarter note on beat 4. Or I could exchange this quarter note here. Quarter, quarter, half. Now for sure, this works well until there is a change in time signature. In 3/4 time, all of the sudden now, I only have 3 beats in each measure. And right now, I may have 3 note heads, but in 3/4 time, with the quarter note equaling 1, 1 plus 1 plus 2 is 4. And so this doesn't work. I could remove this quarter note and then have this in the second beat space. 1, 2 holding through beat 3. I could exchange this to have the quarter note after and have it on beat 3. 1 holding through beat 2 and then 3. I could have just 3 quarter notes, and that would be 1, 2, 3, easy. I could also, and this is where some people get really kind of upset, I could use a whole note in 3/4 time. Now, piano teachers everywhere have asked us not to do this because it's confusing, but a whole note lasts the whole measure, so you could see this. Now notice we don't have any way yet of having one note or one symbol equivalent to 3 beats. It's not an oversight. We just have to really understand what's up here first. Now, for sure, if I change to 2/4 time, I couldn't find a 2/4 in Canva, and I didn't want to make one, so lazy, but here we are. In 2/4 time, I still could use the whole note, and that would be equal to 2 counts in 2/4 time, because that's all that will last in the measure. I could also just use 1 half note. If I used 1 half note, that will be worth 2 counts, 1 holding through count 2. Or I could use 2 quarters, 1 and 2. So what do we need to remember? We have to look at the time signature. We must know what the bottom number is because that tells us the unit of the beat. It tells us which note's going to be equal to 1 count. The top number will tell us how many counts we're going to expect in each measure because that's the meter, the grouping of the beat. And then we need to remember that this is a hard and fast rule. We can't have more or less beats in a complete measure of music. It just doesn't work. So when you go to work on these things, always take a look. Does your measure make sense? If not, what do you have to do to make it make sense? Good luck. Sorry this one was long. Good luck.